Alright, welcome to the Term 1 Summary Revision video. Okay, we're going to be starting off with Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Right, Chapter 1 will be whole numbers. Look at this 7-digit number. Right, now whenever you see a numeral like this and you want to change it to words, alright, there's a few steps that you'll have to stick very closely to, or not you make a lot of careless mistakes. Okay, now the first thing you have to do is to divide this into parts of 3. Alright, the 812 will be in the ones placings, the 734 will be in the thousands placings, and lastly the 1 will be in the millions placing. Now from here, easily, once you split it up into parts of 3, okay, first step you have to do is just to write down the numeral that's there. For this case is 1, so you just write 1, followed by the placings behind in red, million. Alright, don't forget to add in a comma after that. Now the next one, we're looking at a 734 in blue. Alright, we're just going to write 734 without caring about anything else. After we have written this, then we put in the placings, which is 1000 in blue. Take note that when you're writing out this kind of word sentences, do not leave any S behind all of these placings, which means you're always going to be using a million and thousand. Alright, you wouldn't be using millions or thousands. Alright, it's always without the S. And don't forget to put in your hyphens where you need to. Now lastly is the 812, right? We are used to reading it just as 812, so that's exactly what we'll be writing it down. And that's all to converting numerals into word sentences. Now let's try something a little bit more tricky. Now remember, all of these, they use the same kind of format, same kind of method of doing, and you follow this method, right, you will never go wrong. Okay, same thing, we're going to convert this into parts of 3, sorry. And first step, copy down the numeral, then you put in the placings behind, which is million. Next, we're going to copy down again the numerals. 081, we are very familiar with this, we'll usually just pronounce this as 81, followed by the placings behind, which is in the 1000. Okay, then we put our comma, and lastly the ones in black, 046, will be 46. Now when you're looking at this question, always do a check. Alright, the last comma, or rather if you're talking about comma and the word n, the last one should always be a n. Okay, so if you're looking at this, if now currently this sentence ends with a comma, the one after the 1000 ends with a comma without having any n behind, means you have to convert this comma into an n. Alright, this is just the English part of maths. So we're going to take away the comma. Oops, sorry. Let's try it again. And then we're going to include the n behind over there. Alright, so this is just the extra step you need to do for this kind of questions where it ends with a comma instead of an n. Alright, moving on to the next slide. Okay, this is how we convert numerals into convert word sentences into numerals. Okay, from here we're going to split this, okay, by breaking them up into the different placings that we have. So first look at the word million. Alright, we're just going to write down 5 million, okay, including all the zeros that comes with it. Then next we're going to look at a 639,000. So can you see this is just a long addition? And then lastly we'll add a 174. Okay, if you do it like this and you draw it very well, you can get your answer easily. Alright, so this is one of the methods you can use to make sure that you don't make the careless mistakes. Okay, just write it down as it is. Right? Okay, moving on to the next one. This is some of the questions that might come out. Forming the largest even whole number with digits. Now whenever you see this, right, always split this into a few steps. In this case, there will be 2 steps. Now you see there are 2 major words here. The first one is largest and the second one is even. Right? So first you form the largest whole number. Okay, you don't care about the even part first. You're just going to form this number, 9874321. Alright, I think by now all of you should know why the largest has to be formed like this. Bigger numbers have to be put in front because bigger place values, it will benefit more and it helps you to answer the question. Secondly, you do the second part. You're going to move the smallest even number to the back. Now you see the numbers in blue, 9874312. You're bringing the 2, which is the smallest whole number, all the way to the back. Alright, so this is how you do these kind of questions. Now these are some of the important terms that you need to take note of when you're preparing for your examination. Alright, the value of the digit 5 in the numeral 753246 is 50,000. Value and digit, these are the key words. Alright, value meaning the actual value of it, how much is it worth without all the other numbers. Okay, so basically what you're doing, you're just going to replace all the other numbers with zeros, and you realize that you end up with 50,000. Alright, number 2, the place value of the digit 5 in the numeral 753246 is 10,000. Alright, place value, this is the keyword over here, of the digit 5. Okay, so in this case they're asking you the digit 5 is in what, is what, so the answer should be 10,000. Okay, lastly, increasing order means from small to big, decreasing means from big to small. Alright, this one you all should know by now, but just make sure you don't make the careless mistakes. Okay, even people who are very good in maths, they also make these mistakes once in a while. Alright, now we are going to move on to this should be order operations. Now when you're multiplying, there's a little cheat code here that you all should have been doing when working on your chapter 1 and chapter 2 word problems. Alright, in this case you're going to take out the 3 and the 6. You notice how the zeros, the 300, I made the zeros into red, and the 60, I made the zero into a blue. You're going to rearrange them by taking out all the zeros and putting it behind. So in this case, after taking out the zeros, you get a 3 times 6. Alright, putting all the 3 zeros behind, it becomes times 1000. Alright, now from here, it becomes a lot easier when you just have to work with the 3 times 6. So working the 3 times 6, you're going to get 18. Right? So 18 times 1000. You see, it's so simple to do this now. Normally, you all would use a long multiplication, take 300 times 60, and then you get a lot of zeros and it gets very messy. But in this case, you're just going to get it straightforwardly. 3 times 6 equals to 18. And after that, the easy part, just put back the zeros that you took out. Notice I still left them that color, so you know the zeros belong to who. Okay, belong to the 300 and belong to the 60. Alright. Now when you're dividing, alright, what you need to do is cancel the zeros systematically. Alright, always cancel 1 0 from the left and 1 0 from the right. So look at this, 64,000 divided by 800. You're going to cancel off one of the zeros first. Right, then you cancel off another 0. And when you have no more zeros left to cancel, that's when you start doing your long division. So I didn't write it out over here, but if you all want, you all can try on a piece of paper. 640 divided by 8, right? It's going to take the long division, you get the answer is 80. Now this surely beats taking 64,000 and doing your long division dividing by 800. Number is so big, it's so hard to do it. Okay? Now the next one that we have, this is some of the common rules for order of operations. Now the first step is always to do those in brackets first. Second step is to do those in the times and divide family. And the third step is to do the plus and minus. And all this while, you should be following the left to right rule. Alright? Now looking at this problem here, get 180 minus bracket 45 minus 30 divided by 3, close bracket, plus open bracket 5 times 3, bracket again. Okay, so when we look at this question, what's the first thing that we need to do? Alright, we have to look at the little purple square box over there. Always work with the brackets first. Now you see there are two sets of brackets. Alright, so always work it from left to right. So now we're looking at a 45 minus 30 divided by 3 bracket. Now within this bracket you have a minus, you have a divide. So you should be working on the divide first, because a times divide family comes before the plus and minus family. Okay? So remember, when you're doing this, always do it one step at a time. Don't jump steps. If you jump steps, it's going to get very messy and you make a lot of careless mistakes. Alright, so in this case, you notice the number in blue, 10, is actually the result of 30 divided by 3. So you get 180 minus 45 minus 10. Both of them are in brackets, plus bracket 5 times 3, close bracket. Okay, now from here, alright, you can ignore whatever is on the first line. Okay, you start working only on those on the second line. You check one more time. Okay, within this new number sentence, what is it that we should be doing next? Okay, so in this case, we should be doing the first bracket first. Why? Because you're supposed to doing those in the brackets from left to right. Okay, so in this case, you're going to do the 45 minus 10 first. You get 180 minus 35 plus bracket 5 times 3, close bracket. Alright, from here we look at it. Are there still any more brackets to be done? Yes, there's still the 5 times 3. So we're going to be doing that first. Right, we'll get this. Now, once you have seen this and there are no more brackets, okay, the next thing you have to do is to work out, check this. Is there any more times and divide? Okay, there's no more. That's very fortunate. So we don't have to do that anymore. We're only left with the plus and a minus. Now, which are we going to do first? Right, always work from left to right. We do the minus first. Don't skip steps. Alright, now some people might take 35 plus 15. You realize you get an answer very different from what my answer is going to be. Okay, always solve it from left to right. 180 minus 35. You get 145. You copy down the 15. When you do it, you're going to get 160. Alright. Now this is a checklist. Okay, always underline or use the square brackets. Okay, square brackets because you don't want to mix them with the smooth roundy brackets. Always do one calculation at a time. Do not try to skip steps. Alright, so in this case, you notice even though, okay, some of you who are faster, you realize that you can actually do the things in separate brackets at the same time. But for me, I don't do that because I don't want to get myself into trouble. Alright, so try to do one calculation at a time. Do not try to skip steps. Alright, next, every time you do something, you got to copy down the rest of the statement. I believe your teachers have emphasized a lot on the use of the equal sign. How if you miss out something in the equal sign, or you miss out a number, or plus something, or minus something, the entire you'll get minus half a mark because it's considered an error in equation. Okay, so just make sure you copy down everything so that you won't minus that marks. Alright, and when you write a new number statement out, always use the same rules with the new statement. Alright, left to right, your brackets, your times divide, your plus minus, all these rules you have to put them in very well as well. Okay, now this is the end for the chapter 1. Alright, it's a very brief review.